What's up, everybody? My name is Vice, and you have made the questionable decision to tune into another episode of Scene RX. Today, we are going to be taking a break from talking about music for a second, and we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that I wanted to discuss with this channel project thing. And we're going to talk about some video game stuff because I love video games. And I was asked by one of my followers to do a little synopsis review thing of Hollow Knight Silksong. So that is what we are going to do. So for some background here, the original Hollow Knight game is a 2D action platformer game in a genre called Metroidvania, which lots of running around, puzzles, jumping, platforms and stuff. Not exactly my first go-to genre, but I mean, I've played plenty of Castlevania games. I played Metroid Dread. I played the other Metroid games. Like, I'm familiar with the formula. It's pretty challenging, kind of almost like a Souls-ish kind of thing, as well as the map is just, it's really big, interconnected, and the way to utilize the map is you essentially have to become a cartographer. When you go through and explore, you have to get items that allow you to fill the map as you go, and it's pretty cool. So you play as this guy here, the knight, and you explore the ruins of an insect kingdom called Hollow Nest. And you gain new abilities, which helps you unlock new paths and secrets as you try to find out what this plague is that the residents of the insect kingdom are dealing with. The knight that you play as is a vessel, a creature born of the void, and a failed attempt by the kingdom's ruler, the Pale King, to contain a dream-based infection called the Radiance. You travel through a vast subterranean environment, fighting bosses, learning the lore of the story through item descriptions and dialogue with varying NPCs, which is a different way of talking about the story than just monologuing at the beginning of the game or telling the synopsis, when you press start for the first time or whatever. Going through it and actually having to actually take the time to look at the things, interact with people, to really understand what's going on, is pretty cool. It's a really cool way of going about doing everything. So the reviews for the original Hollow Knight was overwhelmingly positive. An overall 9.4 out of 10 on IGN, 4.7 out of 5 on Google, 90% on Metacritic. Everybody sings the praise of this game. I played it, haven't beaten it, but I did play it. I wanted to replay it just to make sure that I got an understanding of the game before I went into Silksong. And so I went in, I played a bit of this one, and then I went into Silksong. Now, Hollow Knight Silksong is the sequel, the long-awaited sequel, to the original Hollow Knight game, and you play as this character up here. Her name is Hornet, and at the very beginning of the game, she gets captured. And she's brought to an unfamiliar land called Farloom to face whatever her past might be and uncover secrets of this new kingdom, including this weird religion and its obsession with bells and the idea of a higher being tied to a song. The story explores whether Hornet can overcome a tragic lineage or if she's destined to repeat the mistakes of Hollow Nest, so tying it into the first one, all while facing a central mystery of the kingdom's ruler, the higher being Grandmother Silk. So with this one, it plays very much so the same way as the first Hollow Knight did. Like, there's really not much difference in everything with it. It's still a Metroidvania. It's a 2D platformer. Both of these games, what I liked about them was the art style. While it's very cartoonish, it's very animation looking, which I thought was really cool. It really set a good aesthetic for the environments, because with the original Hollow Knight, a lot of the environments, if not all of them, are very dark. It's very, monotone. Well, not really monotone, but it's very dark colors, very dim, very dreary. It really sets the mood for the kind of environment that it is. Like, you can tell that there's something going on. Like, looking at the game and seeing that, like, yes, there's a plague is not that far-fetched based on just the way the environment is set. Hollow Knight Silksong does a really good job of setting up the environment, the set pieces and everything as well, but there is a little bit more of a splash of color this time, not just because Hornet has her red silk cape thingy going on there. and you see in the background of it the orange and everything. Like whereas Hollow Knight, there was a lot of gray, a lot of blue. In Silksong, at least from what I played so far, you see a lot more. There's more orange, kind of like autumny colors, but it still manages to maintain that same level of not necessarily hopeless, but dreariness that the original Hollow Knight had established using its set pieces. The scores on both games are absolutely fantastic. The music does a really good job of setting up just what's going to happen in each particular encounter. Each time you go to a new area, encounter a new character, something. It sets things up so well, and it really enhances the mood of everything with both of these games. The combat is tough, at least it was for me. And in the first one, it was a bit of a challenge to really get it going, but I kind of did after a certain point. In Silksong, the combat is the same. It is very difficult. It's very hard to kind of master at first, but it does feel more fluid than the original. And in looking up, because it just came out, a lot of reviews I'm seeing are a lot of the same general thing. It's like a 9 out of 10, damn near perfect score, damn near 5 stars, everything. So many people are saying that it is an absolute masterpiece. It's the perfect succession. It's the perfect sequel. It's getting a lot of praise, and I think, again, especially coming from somebody who does not normally play, who does not normally indulge in the Metroidvania genre, not very often, I think that the game is worth the praise that it is getting. The art style is fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks hand-drawn, which I love so much. The score, composition of the music, everything is super good. I love the gameplay. It is tough. I like the unique way of interacting with the story, learning the story, learning the lore. Like, it really forces you to interact with the characters and hear what they have to say, as opposed to just button mashing real quick to get through the dialogue so you can go and do the next thing or kill the next monster or whatever. It's a tough game to start, but it's also a very tough game to put down. The combat was improved among Silksong greatly, like I said. The story is very interesting. The set pieces really set up the dark and dreary feelings of the environment. Silksong's environments feel largely the same, but have a splash of color that the original Hollow Knight didn't, but still maintains that same feel. The score masterfully crafted with music, with the music really adding a different element to what's going on around you. When the soundtrack changes, or when the BGM changes, you know that there's something is going to happen. You're either safe or you're about to die. Though the characters are largely silent, there's something relatable about them. Like, it's a lot of the same stuff with dealing with like games like Legend of Zelda, where you have Link, who is a silent protagonist, and it makes it easier for you to see yourself in them. It makes it easier for you to put yourself in that spot, even if it's, behind the face of another. And with both of these games, I feel like it was a lot of the same thing. Is you are very much so able to put yourself in the position of the Nameless Knight or Hornet, and really kind of amplify their journey, and it makes you connect to it even more. It makes you want to finish the game more, because you're invested not just in the game, but you're invested in these characters. I think that it does feel like a really good Metroidvania game. It's easily able to see that it, what inspired Metroid Dread, and how they've traded off with everything, especially going into Silksong and whatnot. It's very easy to see why both of these games have earned the praise that they have, and I think that they both are totally worth it. I would give both of them 5 stars. 5 rock on devil horns, fucking whatever. The point is, I think that they're both really good, and they're both really worth. They live up to the hype that surrounds them. All right, so that is going to do it for this one. That was my synopsis / review of Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong, mostly Hollow Knight Silksong. Games I haven't really played very much, so I know that my scope of information is very limited. I did play a bit of these games to get ready for this video, and I'm planning on playing more of Silksong. But yeah, I gave a crack at it, and I wanted to talk about something video game related, and I got a request to do so, so I did. And I'm glad that I did, because I got to research this more and learn about these games. So it was a lot of fun. So come back next week where we're going to be discussing the new Lorna Shore record. And as always, stay safe out there, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one.